Hey everybody! Here we are in chapter 18. This is our last week of new learning. So one of my favorite things about this book is that it addresses every culture in art history, and I just adore that. So here we are in Native America. And basically we're in Mesoamerica here. And this is an important slide if you're interested in this era. If you are interested in Hispanic cultures, you might be wanting to take a screen cap. And the timeline, everything in a nutshell here. And I've highlighted a really important fact there. Okay, and this is where we are located. Central America, Central and going into South America. And this is Andean South America. So, we're kind of highlighting this area of the globe. And we've got some early Native American sites in North America as well. So this is Chichen Itza. I covered this with my students last year, and it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Notice that we're in two-step pyramids, and notice that we're in the year 800 and 900, and this is a Mayan. It's weird because we used to always say Mayan, when I was growing up, but now they just say Maya. So it's not like an adjective that you can change up. So Chichen Itza has a ball court, and we'll learn a lot more about that. I think this is so funny that nobody really knows what the rules were, but it was often like ending in death, really a lot like the gladiators in Rome. Colossal head from the Olmecs. These giant Olmec heads are proposed to be rulers. Okay, this is a really important artifact. So, art historians called Olmec carved and polished axe-shaped forms celts, C-E-L-T. So it's not really like Celtic or Celtic, which was in Ireland, but this is a completely different thing. At regular intervals, the Olmec as a community would convene for ritual observances at San Lorenzo and La Venta. So we'll see more about those locations coming up. The importance of San Lorenzo and La Venta in Olmec culture is that they represented the structure and ideals of Olmec society. And the human/animal representations used by Olmec religious practitioners are thought to symbolize the transformations to wrest power from supernatural forces. It's, you see a lot of weird videos about that kind of stuff on YouTube. And the economic foundation of Mesoamerican Mexico was based on the cultivation of maize or corn. So this was actually the maize god. Okay, seated figure with a drinking cup. Cute. Okay, this is Teotihuacan. Super important location. And I love how we can see it, from an aerial view, and everything's still there. They really made things to last in our history. So the significant change that occurred during the early period at Teotihuacan is that it underwent monumental expansion into a genuine city. The urban plan of Teotihuacan most closely resembles Hellenistic and Roman city planning. So I love how we're, connecting to other things we've already learned. The unique cosmopolitan character of Teotihuacan is due to the city's diverse inhabitants. So it's, cosmopolitan, pretty cool. Teotihuacan was the site of the Aztecs. it was the site that the Aztecs visited with a deep sense of reverence. So it was just like, kind of like a holy place for them. This is the Pyramid of the Sun. The commonly suggested reasoning for the careful arrangement of key pyramids at Teotihuacan is that they related to astrological phenomena. That's just, before television, before internet, people were like looking up. Okay, this is the Temple of the Feathered Serpent. The Feathered Serpent is one guise of Quetzalcoatl. So Quetzalcoatl, you'll hear about him more. This is a Mesoamerican Mexican deity. Okay, Teotihuacan murals most often depicted deities and ritual activity. The ritual of human sacrifice evidenced at Teotihuacan is explained as essential for agricultural renewal. So here we've got, some very weird things happening, but, hey, they had to do what they had to do to make sure they had a good crop. This is a stela. Check it out. We've heard of those stelas before in ancient Egypt, and very interesting. Here's another ball court. The architectural feature that has been found in nearly all Mesoamerican cultures is a ball court. Recent archaeological work in West Mexico has uncovered tiered platforms and ball courts, so they keep finding them. It's a big deal. Sports. The Temple 1 at Tikal, or the Temple of the Giant Jaguar, it has the tomb of a ruler located beneath it. Maya architecture signifies the power of the ruler. So this is all about who's in power. Beautiful photo. The belief that West Mexican tombs were filled with elaborate offerings is supported by the fact that there are deep shafts with chambers at the base. We know a lot about pyramids, and it's really interesting that this was going on elsewhere in the world. Okay, this is the Temple of the Inscriptions. We literally have a much better understanding of the chronology of Mesoamerica due to the ciphering of the writing and dating systems of the Maya. So they were writing things down. And one of the purposes of Maya ritual is that it guaranteed the order of the state and the cosmos. So very cool. We see these inscriptions. I love this guy. He's a ball player. And, he doesn't appear to be in great shape, but makes you wonder, what were the rules of the game? Was it just, like bowling, or I can't tell, but I find him fascinating. The Maya site of Bonampak is best known for painted murals. The creation of huge ceremonial centers was typical of Maya art and architecture. So, we've seen this before as well. Huge ceremonial practices. The enthroned Maya lord in attendance. This is a vase. There's some cool things about this. The presumed value for analysis of West Mexican ceramics, noted for small scale, they're like not big. This one is like 8 inches tall. These narrative scenes include temples and houses with figurines. They may provide informal glimpses into daily life. So we can kind of envision what life was like. And this iconography spread through the Andean region via portable media such as textiles and ceramics. So this is not necessarily the Andean region, which is in South America, But you can just imagine how trading ceramics and textiles, fabrics, would, spread that iconography. Very cool. Carved out of limestone. And this is a Castillo of Chichen Itza. Okay, we talked about Chichen Itza a little earlier. And, oops. Okay, this is at Chichen Itza. Again. Okay, this is actually at Chichen Itza as well, the site of Chichen Itza, which is a complex. Note that corbel vaulted construction, which we've talked about before. It was typical of the architecture of the Maya. It's amazing how these builders, all over the world, so far away from Europe and Rome and Greece, are coming up with the same ideas around the same time. This is the Pyramid of the Niches. Okay, colossal Atlantids. Art historians describe these Toltec, these are Toltecs, male of the Toltec culture, male statue columns as Atlantids. So I don't know why they call them that, but they do. This is a pendant, and it is a bat-faced man. So these Tirona, this is from Tirona, these pendants are best described as hammered gold amulets and talismans. The subject of this Tirona gold pendant is, like I said, the bat-faced man. There's another stela, like we saw in ancient Egypt again. This is an embroidered funerary mantle. So it was the Paracas culture in Peru that produced this embroidered funerary mantle. This is fascinating to me. So this is like an overhead view of a hummingbird. So this was created by scraping aside pebbles to reveal lighter clay and calcite. Fascinating. It was like they were speaking to the heavens, Okay, here we have bridge-spouted vessel. And vessel in the shape of a portrait head. This is an ear ornament, so like an earring. Gateway of the Sun. The Lima Tapestry. It's a tunic. Cool. We still wear tunics. Okay, this is a burial mask. This Eskimo burial mask. So we're in Alaska. So we're talking about Native Americans from all cultures. This exemplifies a theme that is common to many of the early cultures of the Americas: transformation. So changing into another entity. So a lot of supernatural. This is a pipe. So the function of this object is a pipe. Most extant objects from the Adena and Mississippian cultures that were found in burial and temple mounds, the treasured pipe was often buried with the deceased. So now we're in Ohio. Columbus. Cool. Okay, this is the Monk's Mound. Amazing. The Serpent Mound, and this is weird to me, but art historians suggest that the Great Serpent Mound is the route of Halley's Comet. Okay, well, all right. It's common thought, so we kind of have to listen to it. And this is a gorget which is a pendant. Okay, now we have a bowl with 2 cranes. Contemporary Native American practices indicate that the potter of this vessel is most likely a woman. The Mimbres cultures of southwestern New Mexico were renowned for their black on white painted bowls. And this is interesting. So here we are in New Mexico, right? It's a Pueblo Bonito. In the 12th century, during a drought, like right around this time, the ancestral Puebloans relocated to Mesa Verde, Colorado. Cool. Okay, this is a Cliff Palace, Mesa Verde, Colorado. Okay, here's some additional notes if you're interested in this area or this era. Any of these peoples you might like to take a screen capture. And some discussion questions, which would be great ideas for your final paper.